Do you ever get stared at when you're out in public? One evening, after my friend Michelle and I had been out to dinner at my favorite Caribbean restaurant, she asked me, "How are you able to cope with that?" Ladies and gents, I'd like to let you in on a little secret. Things like that do not bother me, because I've always loved being the center of attention. But my friend Michelle's question did catch me a little bit off guard, and I didn't really know how to respond at the time. But if Michelle was to ask me the same question again today, my answer would be one word: resilience. But how do you develop this thing called resilience? I'd like to share with you all 3 lessons that have helped me build up my resilience, and I'm hoping that by sharing, you'll be able to apply these lessons in your life also. Lesson number 1. You can gain power from your pain. You can gain power from your pain. You might have seen it on TV, or even experienced it in real life. Those first few moments after a baby's born, and everyone's waiting with bated breath for him or her to let out their first cry. And then the baby cries, and everyone's overjoyed and filled with relief. When I was born, I didn't keep anybody waiting for my first cry. I came out, screaming the whole place down. But these were not the normal screams of a baby. I was screaming because I was in excruciating pain. You see, I was born with a rare condition known as Ostegenesis Imperfecta that affects about 1 in 20,000 people, or 1 person in a city the size of Chichester. The main symptom of this condition is bones that break very easily, which explains why I was in pain starting the day I was born. The fractures were particularly prevalent during my childhood years. Humerus, femur, tibia, I broke them all, and many times. And this would normally happen in everyday situations. I'd be at home, playing around with my sisters or my cousins, just like any other kid. And then something would happen, like I would fall over, and then, panic stations. Everyone would run to fetch my parents, and I'd be rushed to A&E, screaming and crying because I'd just broken another bone. But funny enough for me, the hardest part was not so much the physical pain, but the isolation that followed. There was one incident when I was about 9 years old. I'd been messing around with a friend of mine at school, and somehow I managed to fall out of my wheelchair. Panic stations. My friend asked me, "Hey, are you alright?" To which I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." But actually, I wasn't fine. I had broken my femur, which is your thigh bone, the one that sits between your knee and your pelvis. My friend helps me back into my wheelchair, and we go back to class that afternoon. You see, I've been here before, and I knew that for the next couple of months, I wouldn't be able to go to school or see my friends. I knew that I'd be facing a long and painful recovery. I knew that I was going to be isolated. So that afternoon in school, I forced myself to withstand the pain, because I knew that afterwards, I'd be going away for a while. And when I think back to the physical pain, the screams, the tears, when I think back to being stuck in my bed, watching the other kids play outside through the window, today it's given me the belief that I can overcome any pain, any tragedy, any suffering. It's given me the belief that no matter what life throws at me, I know I'll bounce back. And I need you guys to know that even a diamond doesn't start off all shiny and polished. It too once was nothing special, but with enough pressure, it became spectacular. So I need you to weather the storm. I need you to withstand the pressure. Let it mold you into something spectacular. Because I truly believe you can gain power from your pain. Has any of you ever tried online dating before?
What's his stuff?
Okay, well, back in the audience. A few years ago, I was chatting with a girl on a dating app, but she said to me, "You look like you're in a wheelchair." To which I responded, "Yeah, I am, but being in a wheelchair doesn't define me." I've titled lesson number 2, you get to define who you are. You get to define who you are. So I was lucky to have a good start in life. From a young age, I had the support of a family who made me believe that I was smart and funny and I could achieve anything that I wanted to in my life. When it was time for me to go to school, I remember dreading it for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, I knew I wasn't going to like the food because I'm a fussy eater. Reason number 2, I knew that going to school would spell the end of me chilling at home, watching cartoons all day. But after my first day of school, I had a new reason for dreading school altogether. You see, the teachers have been extremely overprotective because of my condition, and so the other kids have been scared to approach me. I hadn't made any friends. It was the first time I felt disabled. So when I came home that evening, I said to my parents, "Mom, Dad, I don't want to go back to school." And my parents, while they sympathized with me, they also threw me a challenge. The challenge was for me to find a way to let my light shine in school and show everybody what a smart and funny kid I really was. At that point, feeling sorry for myself became less important than making my parents proud. My problem had been redefined. And what if I told you you could redefine any problem or situation in your life? You might say to me, "Hey Winston, I've got a physical limitation. How am I supposed to redefine that?" Well, when I was laid up in bed with broken bones, I read a lot of books. I'd read the whole Bible cover to cover by the age of 12. When it was time for me to go to school, I realized that studying was going to be easy for me. I realized that I was going to be able to do well and make my parents proud. I had turned my lemons into lemonade. Or you might say to me, "Hey Winston, I've got terminal cancer. How am I supposed to make lemonade out of that?" I don't have all the answers, unfortunately, but I'd like to share with you a quote from one of my mentors, Glenn Savage. He says, "Our experiences shape us, but our choices define us." Our experiences shape us, but our choices define us. You have a choice. Life will throw challenges at you, big and small. But perhaps, instead of asking yourself, "Why is this happening to me? Why is this so difficult?" Perhaps you need to ask yourself, "How can I take this problem or situation and redefine it into something that's better for me?" Going back to my school days, you might be forgiven for thinking that I was a shy, disabled kid who didn't really mix well and maybe even got picked on by the other kids. Well, in lesson number 3, I'd like to show you how you can turn your obstacles into opportunities. You can turn your obstacles into opportunities. So in fact, I wasn't a shy kid at all. If anything, I was a class clown. And when it came to teasing each other, I definitely gave as good as I got, if not more. After a shaky start, I started to thrive in school, getting good grades, making loads of friends, and most importantly, getting girlfriends. But behind my confident appearance, there were some moments of self-doubt. For example, I come from a Christian family, and oftentimes would have people, relatives or people from the church, who would come over and they would pray for me to be healed of my disability. Now, while these prayers were being said with the best intentions, for me, there would be a harsh reminder that there was something wrong with me, and I would lose some of my confidence. There was also a time when I went to a nightclub with some of my friends from university. When we got to the door, the bouncer said, "Hey man, I can't let you in because you're a high risk." To which I said, "Hey Mr. Bouncer, I promise I'm not going to start any fights tonight or run anybody over in my wheelchair." But what he actually meant that I was a high risk because they didn't have a plan or facilities to evacuate me in the event of an emergency. And you might be facing some obstacles today. And these obstacles might come in the form of limiting beliefs. Things like, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't have the confidence. I don't think anybody will take me seriously. Is there a way you could take these beliefs and replace them with new beliefs that empower you? In my case, I was able to go from being someone with low confidence to developing as a public speaker. And I'm very honored to be here in front of you today, giving this presentation. So my hope is you can take your obstacle and use it as an opportunity to develop it into an opportunity. So I'd just like to do a quick summary of the 3 lessons before I tell you about my big mission. Lesson number 1, you can gain power from your pain. You can gain power from your pain. Lesson number 2, you get to define who you are. You get to define who you are. And lesson number 3, you can turn your obstacles into opportunities. You can turn your obstacles into opportunities. So now my big mission. What if I told you that your limitation is just an illusion? If I could go back in time to that little boy crying himself to sleep because, not just because of the physical pain, but because he believed he would never be normal, he would never fit in, he would never see his dreams come true. If that little boy was to ask me, "Hey, is it always going to be like this?" I would say to him, "No, it doesn't have to be." You see, we live in a world where everyone's trying to put you in a box. And that box could be because of your gender, because of your race, because of your sexual preference, amongst other things. My mission is to create a world where nobody feels limited in what they can achieve, to free us from the boxes that the world puts us in, and the ones we put ourselves in by subscribing to limiting beliefs. Figures from 2015 from the Samaritans organization show that there were 6,000 suicides recorded that year, an average of 16 per day. Could resilience have given some of these people the strength to carry on? Friends, I'm not here to say to you that I've had more problems than you, or that my challenges are bigger, than the ones you might be facing. But I do believe that resilience is a resource that leads to a richer and more rewarding life. And part of my mission is to enable you to use your resources so that when life forces you to bounce back, you can actually bounce forward. Because I truly believe, ladies and gents, at the end of the day, we all have a choice. Be resilient or resign.